Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Dr. Defa Li. Dr. Li is a professor of College of Animal Science and Technology at China Agricultural University, the leading institute in swine nutrition in China. He's also the director of the Ministry of Agriculture Feed Industry Center, MAFIC, since 1996. A highly regarded center of excellence in nutrition research. MAFIC has trained more than 100 PhDs and as many master students, including myself. Currently, about 30 PhDs and 37 master students are in progress. Dr. Li earned his PhD from Kansas State University in 1989. He has been a member of the Chinese Academy of Engineering since 2013. Dr. Li has held various leading roles in China. For example, he has been the president of China Feed Industry Association since 2016. He's the editor-in-chief for Journal of Animal Science and Biotechnology. He's the president of China Feed Museum. Dr. Li has been building up a growth database for available nutrients for feed ingredients in China for pigs. He devotes himself to the formulation and prediction of nutrient composition of feed resources in China. His talk is going to be pre-recorded. With that, please help me in welcoming Dr. Li's talk.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Ladies, gentlemen, good morning. My name is Defa Li. I'm from China Agricultural University. My presentation today is China feed industry in the past, present, and the future. This is a MAFIC Building. Ministry of Agriculture Feed Industry Center was established in 1996. Since then, we have trained more than 450 graduate students. In the past 40 years, we have been studying swine nutrition. There are about 80 faculty members in the center and 138 graduate students currently. Next building is our China Feed Museum. This is our family photo. Since 1996, we have had the family photo each year. This China Feed Museum, it was established in the year 2016 to celebrate MAFIC 20 years anniversary. This Journal of Animal Science and Biotechnology was published in 2010. By June this year, the impact factor is about 5.03. So I feel very honorable, very happy to see this journal development. This is our research farm with 500 sows from farrowing to finishing. This farm was research-oriented designed. Right now, it's very safe because in the mountains around this swine farm, there is no any livestock around. The China feed industry in the past, we can see this is the feed coupons. Maybe many people have not seen feed coupons. from 1950s to 1960s, because feed production was limited, we had to use feed coupons to get feed to pigs and poultry. Right now, feed production is very high, so we do not need any coupons now. The start of feed industry in the reform and opening up. In 1979, CP Group formed a joint venture with Continental Grain and entered the Chinese market. That was the beginning of the modern commercial feed industry in China. At that time, feed is still mysterious, from formula production and then performance in breeding. In 1982, the first domestic feed enterprise, Hope Group, was established. In 1984, Buller established a representative office in Beijing and service centers in Shanghai and Tianjin. In 1985, China Feed Industry Association was established. After 1992, China's feed industry developed rapidly from livestock and poultry feed to aquatic feed, from premix to concentrated feed and compound feed. A large number of feed enterprises emerged on the ground of China, including Haida, Tongwei, Dabenong, Twins, Cargill, and Wild Hope, and so on. China's agricultural industry in the reform and opening up. You see, before the reform and opening up, meat, eggs, and milk should be supplied with tickets. In this corner, this meat tickets. Families can only eat pork once every half a month. Until the early 1990s, more than 95% of countries, cities, and counties have completed the reform of liberalization grain prices. All kinds of tickets eventually become a history. In this table, we can see the meat production in terms of 10,000 tons. The meat totally was 1,200. By the year 2019, we can see the yield becomes 7,758. Within the meat supply or production, we can see the pork in the year 1980 was 1,134, beef about 27, mutton about 45, poultry about 160, milk 114. By year 2019, pork 4,255, beef 667, mutton 487, poultry 2,239, milk 3,201. So we can see there are a lot of increasement over the 40 years. Development stages of feed industry in China, there are about 3 stages. From 1980s to 1990s, about 20 years, it was an initial stage. From 1990 to 2010 was a rapid development stage. After 2010, we call the steady state stages. It topped about 200 million tons in the year 2015, firmly ranking the first feed production in the world. As a present, China Animal Nutrition Guidance Committee, something like NRC, we call the CNGC, was established in November 2020. I am the first chairman in charge of this CNGC. Vice chairman, including Professor Mai, Professor Yin, and Professor Yao. Secretary in general is Professor Qiao Shiyan, and the Secretary Office located in China Agricultural University. This committee will supervise the China feed database and the nutrient requirements for the livestock. Feed ingredients database releasing forum and the utilization platform was held on April this year. Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs had a special conference in Chongqing on April 17 this year, released the Chinese feed ingredient database and the utilization platform, as well as the technical solutions for corn and soybean meal alterations in animal feed. Major feed producers, including the CP, we invited Dr. Gary Stoner join this conference, and other major producers representatives in China attended this conference. Also, the 14th five-year plan, the key research and development plan, arranged by Ministry of Science and Technology, MOST. There are about 50 programs in animal husbandry, including nutrition, environmental pollution, breeding, and feed research fields. Total investment from central government will be about 2 billion RMB from 2021 to 2025. The technical innovation in new livestock breeds, cultivation, and modern farm establishment, including the creation and efficient breeding of new livestock breeds, alternations of protein ingredients by bioengineering technologies, and the development of new feedstuff resources, AI farming, and the production of high quality and safety animal products. So modern farm innovation, integration, and demonstration for this development plan. The use of the antibiotics in feed was prohibited from January 1, 2021. The feed industry in China in the future. From this table, we can see animal feed consumption and the prediction from 2010 to 2035 in China. We can see this table, we can bottom line 2035. This table is in terms of million tons. The total feed will be 458, pig feed about 194, layer feed about 80, broiler feed about 115, aquatic feed is about 34, ruminant feed about 29, other feed about 6. We can see by the year 2035, the feed consumption will increase a lot. This is the annual output value of feed industry in China. We can see over the 30 years, they jumped a lot. So by the year 2020, the total value is about 17% increasement. This annual production of compound feed in China, we can see one is the total feed production in terms of 10,000 tons. The blue color is the increasement by percentage. We can see by the year 2020, the increasement is about 16%. Annual production of feed additives in China was almost a very steadily development. Anyway, the increasement by year 2020 is about 16%. This is major feed ingredients consumption and prediction from 2010 to 2035 in China. We can see this table is in million tons. We can see the bottom line by the year 2035. Cereal grains will be 284. Corn will be 238. Wheat about 60. Rice about 19. Barley about 6. Sorghum about 4.5. And the soybeans with 105. Protein ingredients sources in feed industry in China. We can see one is domestic supply, one is imported. It was estimated that the domestic feed ingredients could provide 43% protein and 71% energy in feed products used in China. And the imported feed ingredients provide 57% protein and 29% energy. Changes in the feed producers' numbers in China. We can see from 2009 to 2016, the numbers of producers in feed industry dropped a lot because there are a lot of limitations, environmental pollutions, and so on. So the numbers of producers decreased, and each producer production level increased. This table shows the demand statistics of main livestock and poultry products in China by the year 2035. This is in terms of 10,000 tons. We can see the meat, pork meat demand in the year 2018, 5,511. By the year 2035, will be 6,411. For beef, 2018 was 737. By the year 2035, will be 974. Mutton, by the year 2018, that was 507. And by year 2035, will be 667. Poultry, by the year 2018, it was 1,349. By the year 2035, will be 2,163. Poultry and eggs, by the year 2018, it was 2,632. By the year 2035, will be 3,139. Milk, year 2018, it was 2,766. by the year 2035, it will be 4,031. According to the current feed conversion efficiency calculation, by the year 2035, China will need to increase 86 million tons of compound feed. Feed resources supply will be a big problem. China feed industry's future research directions. There will be 4 categories or 4 parameters related to swine production. One is feed efficiency. There will be dynamic feed ingredient database, use of new rapid technology to predict nutrient utilization, dynamic modeling of net energy, balanced formulation technology system based on digestion kinetics. Second category will be growth rate, kinetic theory of digestion and metabolism, biological basis of intestinal microbial metabolism affecting growth. This chart shows the dynamic database of pig feed. This was established in MAFIC. Over 20 years in this chart, in each item, every day, there are somebody doing something. So I call this engineering. We can see we have 120 metabolic cages in this farm I showed earlier. So with the applicants favor very serious in China because these metabolic cages are located at our own farm. We do not need to transfer the pigs to the campus. So we have never stopped the metabolic studies for the feed ingredients. Also, we have 9 respiratory calorimetry chambers so we can measure the net energy for each single ingredient. We have a 20 tons cold storage room at the farm. We have a freeze dryer at the farm. And so we have doing the cannulations for SID predictions. Also, we have so many metabolic or digestion samples, so we have calculated the NIR to predict active or available nutrients amounts for each ingredient. We have about 60 cannulated metabolic cages at the same time. We can do 60 cannulated pigs. So our AIR for predict available nutrients is a very fun thing now. For the ideal nutritional value database of feed ingredients, we established a software we call the FeedSaas. That means feed software as a service. This FeedSaas software is located at the Feed Museum. The variation of chemical composition of feed ingredients, also the variation of available nutrients of feed ingredients, the influence of processing technology on the nutritional value of feed, also the influence of enzyme supplementation on the nutritional value of feed, the influence of animal growth stages on the nutritional value of feed ingredients, also including the latest nutritional indicators. Another part is reproductive performance related with nutrient supplementation. Targeted nutritional evaluation of requirements for reproduction. Nutritional strategies for regulating ovary steroidogenesis in the sows. Mechanism of fetal growth restriction caused by malnutrition in the sow, and also regulation of intestinal microbe, amino acid nutrition, and the regulation of intestinal health in weaned piglets. This transmission of regulation of intestinal microbes in the sows and the piglets. In the sow diets, we supplement lactobacillus to increase the abundance of piglets' intestinal clostridium. Clostridium metabolize tryptophan to produce indole acids, significantly enhanced the intestinal mucosa immune function, therefore increased the pig's weaning weight and reduced piglet diarrhea rate. This research revealed the basic scientific question about how lactobacillus regulate the intestinal mucosa immunity and provided the theoretical basis of maternal dietary lactobacillus modulating intestinal health for the piglets. Amino acid nutrition regulates intestinal health in the pigs. Supplementing low protein diets with branched chain amino acids, including the leucine, isoleucine, and valine, improves the simultaneous absorption of amino acids and glucose in the intestines and muscle tissues, promotes the skeletal muscle protein synthesis. We can see from this branched chain amino acids will influence the glucose and amino acids absorption or transporters to the muscle at the same time to increase the rate of protein synthesis. Also, nutritional strategies for regulating ovarian steroidogenesis in sows. Insufficient in ovarian steroidogenesis results in poor oocyte quality, pregnant difficulties, and delayed embryonic development, and even fetal death, and so on. So improving ovarian steroidogenesis is essential for improving PSY for sows. You see, ovarian steroidogenesis will influence uterine development and will influence embryonic development. So they influence embryonic implementation and improving influence embryo survival rate. Also, the mechanism of fetal growth restriction caused by female malnutrition or excess. Either malnutrition or excess of the nutrients will influence placenta vascular development and growth. If a placenta vascular development influence changes in blood flow from placenta to fetal, either increase or decrease. If increase the blood flow from placenta to fetus, they will influence the animal amount of nutrients and oxygen delivered from the mother to the fetus, otherwise will decrease. So they will influence the fetal growth and development. Therefore, the precise nutrition supplementation for sow for female pigs will be very important for the PSY increasement. Another part is pork quality. Nutritional impact on the muscle metabolism and the tissue development, regulation of muscle tissue development, and nutritional regulation of myogenesis and adipogenesis in muscle tissues. This is how we try to develop the nutrient strategies from a nutritional part, how to improve the pork quality. Because in the past 20 years, we got enough pork supply, but the pork quality decreased. So this is our research plan. In the center, we try to find a mechanism and the nutritional regulation involved in skeletal muscle development and the intramuscular fat deposition of pigs. From bottom line, we from the nutrient intake supplement with the carbon and the nitrogen. You see, if we increase the fat, intramuscular fat deposition, we need a regulation of a carbon metabolism, of a carbon sources supplementation, how they will influence intramuscular fat deposition. Another part is regulation of nitrogen metabolism and the myofiber transformation. So the nitrogen resources or nitrogen amount will influence myofiber development. Also, we can see we need a specific fat deposition. We need to find out mechanism of skeletal muscle development. Actually, we have been trying to find out how the nutrients will have a dialogue with the functional genes. In terms of pork quality, there are two categories. One is intramuscular fat deposition. Another kind is fiber, myofiber type. Type 1 and type 2, they need a special reasonable ratio. So we need to find out the molecular basis of muscle biology. Also, we try to find out metabolic basis for the formation of skeletal muscle characteristics. Also, we need to find out mechanism of stress affecting meat quality, especially transportation stress that will influence pork quality. Also, we try to find out from the sows programmed regulation of maternal nutrition will influence on meat quality. Anyway, these research ideas we have been working on over 10 years. For the next few years, we were trying to find out more the regulation basis to improve pork quality. Distinct mechanisms underlie myogenesis and adipogenesis in the skeletal muscle of pigs, the memory protein profile. So there is an adipogenic cell or myogenic cells. So the cells differentiation will be very important to regulating meat quality improvement. Regulation of dietary amino acid composition, muscle formation, and metabolism. We can see the effects of arginine supplementation on myogenic differentiation. This study revealed that arginine promoted myogenic differentiation by increasing intracellular calcium levels, providing a scientific basis and nutritional strategies for improving pig skeletal muscle development. This is myogenic differentiation influenced by arginine supplementation. So the directions of strategies of meat quality research in the future. One is exploiting the resources of livestock and poultry breeds in China in terms of meat production with high quality. Secondly, exploring the metabolic characteristics and regulatory networks in the skeletal muscle of livestock and poultry during the window period of muscle development and intramuscular fat deposition. Thirdly, establishing the precise nutrient requirements for improving meat quality. Fourthly, studying the effect of replacement of soybean meal and corn on meat quality, and promoting the application of local feed ingredients and biological feed in meat production. Current key technology of feed additives mainstream, microbial molecular design, and gene editing, amino acid metabolism of microorganisms, lysine, threonine, tryptophan, and arginine. Using microbial molecular design and modification for high amino acid production is very important in the future research. Introduction of exogenous genes, optimization of operon, optimization of key enzymes, introduction of hemoglobin gene from trichoamoma pneumonia. The mutation, activation of enzyme genes resistant to lysine feedback inhibition, also reducing activity of intramuscular enzymes that inhibit threonine synthesis. Also gene knockout, lysine for lysine production, knockout of threonine synthesis gene threonine C, and knockdown of tryptophanase gene trans A to reduce tryptophan degradation. You see, gut health or intestinal microflora research in past 10 years is very, very high, and many people have done this kind of research. So I just mentioned it here to get a new concept of intestinal tract. I don't want to go to detail for those small words. Also, microbial metabolism, multi-omics, strain transformation research tool, construction. Anyway, gut health is very keen in the past few years. We need more research to study intestinal microflora and how they influence animal health. Safe and high quality ecological farming. The animal molecular nutrition, mechanisms exploration for epigenetic modification mechanisms, lipid metabolism regulation mechanisms, key targets for quality and health. Modern biotechnology, you see genetic engineering, fermentation engineering, and so on. For the product development, immunoactive peptides for feed, is the king. Also we called post-biotics is the trend for the research in the future. The normal formed feed, novel probiotics, novel plant extracts like Chinese herbs. All those will improve high quality, healthy animal products or ecological farming. Low protein diets and efficient and precise utilization of nutrients. There are a few categories. When you use low protein diets supplemented with amino acids, we need to use peak net energy requirement model. When we use net energy system, can get an ideal performance of low protein diets. You see net energy and the lysine balance mode in terms of per unit of energy, how much grams of lysine should be included. Their influence growth performance and pig's carcass quality. Also, amino acids important order. Right now, we find the lysine, threonine, tryptophan, maybe the valine will be next in terms of the fifth importance. Amino acid model, lysine to other amino acids ratio is very important. For the future research, they diversify the dietary formulations and the efficient and the precise utilization of nutrients. The interaction of large intestine microbes and nutrients, dietary nitrogen, and fiber composition. Also, simultaneous utilization of dietary nitrogen and carbohydrates. When the amino acids and energy reach the certain organs and muscle or tissues, they will increase the synthesis rate. In terms of protein, there's a microbial protein, polyamines, phenols, short-chain fatty acids, methyl mercaptan, and ammonia, indole, and so on. In our country, we're trying to encourage producers to use low protein diets to reduce soybean meal utilization in the feed. Anyway, our feed resources is limited. Feed ingredients supplementation will be a problem in the future. For the precise nutrition, we have a few things to mention. No animal grows faster or more efficiently than a healthy animal. How to keep animals healthy? How to regulate the intestinal microbe to optimize health? How to optimize animal welfare? Also, how to raise animals sustainably? How to reduce carbon footprint of food animal production? How to minimize the environmental impact of food animal production? Thank you for your time. I hope my presentation will present some useful information to you all.
All right, so now we have a few minutes for questions, and I believe we will have Dr. Li joining us virtually to answer questions. So this morning we're going to be using the Catchbox microphones, and Spencer and Emily are going to help us with that. So I just want to remind everybody today, as you're using these, to hold it up like this when it's turned on, and that'll help everybody to hear the question. So underhand throws only.
Or I'll get yelled at.
All right, so do we have any questions this morning for Dr. Li?
You're close enough. I'm not going to
And Dr. Li, are you out there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Defa. This is Mike Tokash. Good. Really enjoyed your presentation this morning. My question for you is with all the impressive things that you've done to build MAFIC and your program there, can you give us a little bit of understanding of how you're funding all of the effort that you're doing currently?
Oh, Mike, very good question. One thing, we get some resources from Chinese government support. Another part is from industry. We have a lot of interactions with the feed industry enterprise, such as feed nutritional evaluation. We have done a lot of communications and cooperations with industry, so we get some supply. Also, we have China foundation for basically research. We get some foundation financial support each year, about 5 to 6 million RMB. So right now, at the currently, MAFIC financial situation is pretty good. Thanks, Mike.
All right, any other questions?
Okay, somebody there.
Oh, John, you have a question? Spencer, throw hard.
Hey. But I can't catch. There's a guy there, right.
Dr. Li, thank you very much
Yes.
for, this is John Patience, and
Okay.
thank you very much for the presentation. I'm wondering, with the large number of students, graduate students that you are training at MAFIC and also
Yes.
at other universities in China, are you
Yes.
are you meeting the need? In other words, are you graduating enough students to meet the need of the pig industry in China?
Oh, that is a very good question. Even we have 138 graduate students right now, but the China feed industry is so large, so we still cannot meet the industry requirement for the people. Even for today, I just come back feed industry, they need a lot of people from MAFIC. Anyway, I think MAFIC trained students, the quality is higher than the average of China universities. Thanks, John. There's a lot of need.
Any other questions? We do have time for a couple more. Go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Li. This is Qingyuan.
Yeah.
Good to
Oh,
see
Qingyuan,
you here.
okay.
I have a
Okay.
question about the feed database and utilization platform. Is it commercialized today? How is that being utilized by the industry there?
Okay, that's good. Good question. One indicator is from CP, Tata Group, Dr. Gary Stoner built up CP's feed formula, feed database. They use most of MAFIC feed database. Dr. Gary Stoner will be here the day after tomorrow for talking more about the collaboration to train more students for the industrial our native. So he feels pretty happy to utilize our feed database. Thanks.